Ellis driving baseline. What a dive!
Wickham, how sweet was that? Step back three,
Wow.
Taylor George. She's got a flamethrower at the moment.
Shelley with a big triple.
It was acrobatic, it was impressive, it was Steph Talbot.
Jade Melvin, the lefty lay-in. Capitals continue to roll. Perth have been unconscious from three. Alice Koenig connects.
She's pumped up and so she should be.
All roads lead to the fire pit in northern Queensland for this New Year's Eve blockbuster in the Signet WNBL between the Townsville Fire and the top of the table Bendigo Spirit in front of a parochial crowd. Hello everyone, welcome to our live coverage of WNBL action on 9 now as round 9 continues and we hit the end of the calendar year. Damien Watson's my name and joining me in commentary tonight is WNBL champion and Southside Flyer star Alice Koenig. This is a big game.
This is a huge game, Damien, and this is your first WNBL game, which is super excited, but it's been a huge year of women's basketball here in Australia and around the world, and what a great way to cap off a great year with this game here tonight.
No doubt about that. First versus third on the table. There's been a lot of anticipation, and the ladder tells the story. The Bendigo Spirit were 9-0, lost a couple before Christmas. The Lynx have been the main challenges, but the Fire are hitting forward, winning 4 of their last 5.
Look, the Lynx have been... The Fire have been really great the last 3 games they've had at home. They're really finding some form. Players know their roles and they're really filling into that system, that Townsville Fire system that they know they play so well. But the Bendigo Spirit have been super impressive this season.
We have a look at the New Year's Eve matches going back over the years. The first one was actually in 1998, Alice, and tip-off was 11 p.m. that night, so I don't know how they worked around the New Year's Eve fireworks, but since 2015, it's been a great annual fixture. A couple of years where it was absent, of course, in the middle, but from personal experience, it's a great occasion, no doubt about that, and Townsville have plenty of experience hosting it.
They do, and the Townsville Fire Pit is an incredible place to play, and I played in a few of these games, and last year I was able to watch that game. I was injured, unfortunately, but amazing atmosphere always at the Townsville Fire Pit, and no doubt it.
Last year they had that big win over the Perth Lynx, 87-64, and 2 players who were prominent on the same side as well, no less, Courtney Woods and Sammy Whitcomb. Of course, Sammy Whitcomb, she started that match last year. Now she's in Bendigo Spirit colours, and Courtney Woods, well, she's taken a greater responsibility this season leading that Townsville Fire side, but I think has looked to delegate a little bit in recent times as well.
Yeah, I was super fortunate to watch that game and watch these 2 superstars go out as we see Sammy Whitcomb draining another 3, and what a great atmosphere it is, and we spoke about that, and Sammy's just the ultimate professional and superstar. She's in MVP form this season. She knows how to step up in these occasions. 26 points that last game and against the Perth Lynx. And Courtney Woods this season, you spoke about just how impressive she's been this season. Steph Reed left the team last season. You know, a few people have left, Sammy and myself. She's really stepped into that leadership role, and we see her. She loves an occasion and she loves the New Year's Eve game as well.
That's right. Last year, 21 points, 5 assists and 2 rebounds in that New Year's Eve game in which they were convincing winners over the Perth Lynx, and I think they really do relish the home crowd as well. So we take a look at the Townsville Fire side, and interestingly, a couple of changes. They've got a good New Year's Eve fixture record, 4-2, but they've got a couple of outs as well coming into tonight.
Yeah, they're without Lauren Mansfield tonight, and Saffron Shields, unfortunately, is in that boot, as we see on screen, which are 2 players that were really thriving in this system. We know that Saffron's she's elevated and she's really taken that next step in her career, and Lauren Mansfield was just a great leader, and especially in the absence of Zaya Cook, her and Abby Ellis have really stepped up. So, you know, it'll be who can step up in the absence of her again tonight. Will it be Courtney Woods again? Will Jess McDowell-White get a little bit more game time there tonight, Damien?
And, of course, Abby Ellis, you mentioned before, really stepping up this season. She was very good in their last game against Geelong United. The Bendigo Spirit, they last played on New Year's Eve back in 2017. They went down to the Flames. They've come off a 28-point win over Adelaide, where they've got their form back on track. I know that's hard to say when you consider they were 9-0, but they did lose 2 before the Christmas break, but they started off well in their last match.
Yeah, they were really impressive in that last game, and I think a huge part of that was Kelsey Griffin, as we see on screen there. She's really coming to some form. We know she had that injury, so she missed a bit of a chunk at the start of the season. She had 20 points there in that game and in that last game, but you know, I think they're finding form at the right time, and I think it's going to be a really great game there tonight.
Saw footage before of Kelsey Griffin. Her, Casey Samuels and Kelly Wilson were all part of that Capitals lineup in the 2021 New Year's Eve fixture where they won against Townsville. She's a great competitor. She's been, I guess, a tremendous asset for the Bendigo Spirit for a long period of time. And she really is a barometer, isn't she?
She's been a tremendous asset to the Bendigo Spirit, but also to Australian basketball, and how lucky we are to have someone like Kelsey Griffin in our league, and just exactly what she brings. She's the barometer, she's the heart and soul of that team, and it's going to be a really great fiery game here tonight.
Set for the opening tip. New Year's Eve action from the fire pit, and the Townsville Fire win the opening tip. Woods, the beneficiary. We spoke about her importance pre-game. She's going to be a great leadership asset for the Fire tonight. Bounce pass is okay. Chance now for Cox. Lovely mid-range two to kick things off.
And I'm not sure what defense they were just starting in the Bendigo Spirit. Sammy Whitcomb was matched up on Fowler there. Looked like they were in a little bit of a zone, but great start for the Townsville Fire nonetheless.
Sammy Whitcomb arguably in career best form, as that one came off the hand there of Burton. And I think when you speak about the importance of players, you've got to put Veronica Burton in that conversation. I think she kept the spirit in it in that game against your Flyers just before Christmas.
She was amazing against us. She had 32 points. She's played really, really great basketball. I think she's really fitted into this Bendigo Spirit system really nicely. She can get to the rim. She can create for others. She's a strong body, and I think this Bendigo Spirit can continually utilise her and see what she can produce.
Woods underneath the basket. Was infringed upon there. Kelsey Griffin looking a little bit exasperated, but that's what you've got to do, apply the early pressure. We've seen that over and over again. Particularly against the Bendigo Spirit, you need to apply that early pressure, and that's something they've lacked the last two times they played them as Woods heads to the line. Sinks in the first. Already they're free to nil up. Just, I guess, for context, they gave up a 9-0 start last time these two sides played, and that's 2 from 2 for Woods from the free throw line.
And speaking about the Townsville Fire, we see Fowler's got the start here. She's playing in that 3 spot, which she's generally playing in that 4 position, but they are a bigger lineup, this Bendigo Spirit, so to start her in the 3 spot, she just adds a little bit more depth to that lineup for them.
Tolo with the rebound, hands it back. Griffin, Whitcomb receiving from Burton. Tries to drive past Woods. There's that matchup we spoke of pre-game. Whitcomb's pass goes astray. Chance now for the Fire on the counter-attack. Fowler's got it. Fires it back to Cox, who leads the league in average blocks so far this season per game. Set the screen up there. Woods again firing underneath the basket. Bounce pass to Fowler. Sensational work from the arc.
Great start by the Townsville Fire and by Alex Fowler, and that's going to do her confidence a world of good in her first start here.
They're creating a lot of intercept opportunities as well. Ellis was very good in their last match. Can she fire on the scoreboard here? Puts it in for 2. She's really fired up, as you would expect. I thought she was very zippy in their last match against Geelong United, and all of a sudden, red alert signs for the Bendigo Spirit with the timeout called. And as I mentioned, last time these two sides played, Alice, Bendigo had a 9-0 start in the blink of an eye over the Fire. Now it's the complete reversal.
And that's exactly the start that the Townsville Fire would be wanting. They have spoken about they weren't happy with their starts while they were on the road. They've been able to address that issue. They're back at home. They're starting the game with, with a lot of urgency and a lot of attention to detail. We can see they're packing the paint on the defensive end, and they're getting out and running transition, and that's something that Shannon Seaborn would be super happy with.
Don't forget, you can stay powered with Signet, Australia's favourite power bank brand. Keep your devices charged and never miss a moment. Visit signet.com to find your perfect power bank. Well, they've certainly found the power so far, the Townsville Fire. And I think more importantly, they created opportunities on transition as well. And I think that's a great fillip for their confidence too. The fact that they can harry the opposition. The Bendigo Spirit are not a difficult side to pressure.
No, and we know that Bendigo will come back with a counter-attack and what type of changes they're going to make. And we know that they will be looking at that as we see Courtney Woods here just threading the needle and getting that ball to Alex Fowler, who nails the 3. But Bendigo Spirit maybe start a little bit sloppy. They've got to spread the floor. They've got to make Townsville Fire play defense, move the ball from side to side and get downhill and get in attack mode.
That's what they're trying to do here from the restart. Wilson, who turns 41 years of age tomorrow, looking evergreen as ever. Burton to Tolo for the long-range 2, puts it in, and the Spirit are on the board for the first time.
And Mariana Tolo is so good in that high post action. So if she can continually be that release pass, then she can either play a high-low action with the rolling Kelsey Griffin.
Woods again nudging underneath the basket, creates her own opportunity and puts it in for 2. Skipper's been super impressive so far. Griffin to Whitcomb for three. Can't nail it this time. Usually very good from beyond the arc.
She knows these rims all too well. Sammy Whitcomb, she actually averages 32.5 points against the Townsville Fire so far this season.
And leading all comers in terms of average points per game in the WNBL this season so far, Sammy Whitcomb. She's going to be a player to watch, has been so consistent as well. Tolo with the 1-2, tries to hook underneath the basket but couldn't quite convert. And now the Fire are away through Fowler. Woods, Alicia Froling, just a slight fumble. The Spirit can capitalise here. Here's Wilson. Directing the traffic as always. Whitcomb drives into the post, just couldn't quite nail it, but rebounds, retracts back. Fowler applying the pressure, fires it off to Wilson. Loops it over the top. Kelsey Griffin's good in this situation in a one-on-one. Couldn't quite convert though, did all the hard work. Cox gives it off to Fowler. Can she drive through for the basket? No, goes back. Woods. Been stellar so far in this contest. Drives inboard. Now fires it off. Fowler for free. Off the iron and off hands. It's going to go the way of the Fire. So things falling their way early, Alice.
The Bendigo Spirit just looking a little bit out of sorts there on the offensive end as we see Mariana Tolo. I think they just need be a little bit more poised. They've got time. They don't need to rush their possessions. They've just got to really use the offense and let the offense flow for them and then finish strong. They're getting all the good looks.
11-2 already. Woods. Intercept. That's where Burke can be so dangerous. Saunters down the floor. Big opportunity here for the American import. Tracks back to the 45, then drives, loops it back. Tolo normally pretty good from this situation. Can't score the two. And the Fire have too many numbers with the rebound. Here's Ellis. Really enjoyed Ellis's game against Geelong United. She set the tone early with her speediness and her athleticism. Cox gives it off, and Froling from close range puts it in.
And that's a great action by the Townsville Fire. Lauren Cox is such an avid and willing passer out of the post there, and that was just a great cut by Alicia Froling.
Really, in terms of influence so far, he's probably had little to do, which is a good thing from a Fire point of view. Whitcomb for three with the fade away. Couldn't quite convert. And jump ball. Fowler certainly relishing the opportunity to start on the floor.
Alex Fowler had such a successful season at the Canberra Capitals last season, and we saw her go to the Townsville Fire, where her minutes have probably been a little bit more limited, but she's still a great player and she's got so much talent. She's going to be a player of the future in Australia.
Yeah, along with Shields, there's some good youthful stocks for the Townsville Fire. Of course, Shields not playing tonight for those just tuning in for the first time. Good hustle from Froling. She's good at both ends of the court. Cox. Now Woods. Tries to scamper through a sea of legs, gives it off to Froling, draws a bit of contact. Foul called.
Great pass there by Courtney Woods in that pick and roll action, and something we've seen by the Townsville Fire. They've really just exposed the defense of the Bendigo Spirit. We saw Bendigo over there in an ice, which is a down on the on ball, and they were able to score pretty easily just then, and then they've changed their defense to a little bit of a show on that pick and roll, and Courtney Woods just thread that needle and was able to find Alicia Froling rolling. Now she's getting to the foul line.
The second attempt, nails that one. So the Fire extend their lead. Looking ominous early, still a long way to go. You can never count out this Bendigo Spirit lineup. Full of class, full of experience, full of composure. Under 5 minutes to go until quarter time. Burton fires it out. Wearing on the court for the first time. Here's a chance now for Burton for three. Sinks it in.
A setting three-point shot there by Veronica Burton, and something that the Spirit really needed. Now they've got to lock down, they've got to get stops, and they've got to string multiple stops there together, and that one will go on a great way to help them.
Tolo again, she's very good defensively. That's one of the great assets she provides to the side. Both ends of the court, and Cox likewise for the Fire getting their hand in. Causes the turnover.
Veronica Burton had just hit 1-3. I think she probably could have taken that next one.
Yes. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. Woods to Froling. Close range, puts it in for two. Really starting to get into the game. Alicia Froling. Here's Burton from the elbow. Fires it out wide. Samuels likes it from beyond the arc. And that's no exception.
Bendigo Spirit starting to light it up from the three-point line, and Casey Samuels, we know, is so good at doing that. If she can come on and she can give them 3, 6, 10 points out of the three-point line, it's going to do a long way to getting the scoreboard ticking over.
Ellis for the mid-range two, tried the floater, couldn't quite float it in. Here's Burton on the counter-attack here for the Spirit. We know she's dangerous, draws a bit of contact in the process. Of course, played for the Connecticut Sun during the WNBA season, Burton, and as we mentioned pre-game, Alison, you would know from personal experience when she played against the Southside Flyers just before Christmas, she really was the only player, in my view, to keep the Spirit in the game in the second half.
She just has such a great ability to get on the rim, but she has a really strong body. So even if you're standing there guarding her, she has a good ability to knock you out of the play, but also stay in the play herself. And she finishes really great at the rim, as we see her nail those 2 points there. And she's a willing passer, and I think that having a player that can get to the rim, shoot the three, and then pass and facilitate the ball is really great for this team.
Here's Woods at the top. Thought about going with the mid-range two, elected to pass. Was probably a little bit too unselfish in the end in hindsight. Werung scampering down the floor. Gives it to Burton. Whitcomb with the drive against Fowler. Just too much pressure in the end, and Whitcomb puts it in.
Sammy wanted that flop there. She wasn't happy with that. But this is where the Bendigo Spirit can really excel. When they get stops on the rim, get out and fly the floor. They've got players who want to run out in transition. Townsville Fire aren't generally a team that want to run out in transition. They want to get you in that half-court basketball. They want to grind you down on the defensive end and on the offensive end. So if the Bendigo Spirit, as we see here, can get out in transition and push the floor, it'll be a long way to go in winning this game.
No doubt about that. Great to hear the insights of Alice Koenig, WNBL champion, of course, current star for the Southside Flyers. Here's Ellis. 16-12 the scoreline here as we approach quarter time in front of this very, very good crowd. Would expect it on New Year's Eve. Woods, bounce pass, Cox, inserting her physical imprimatur there. She's just so hard to defend against.
Lauren Cox is really a great presence down low, and I think she sometimes gets a little bit underutilized in this team. She's such a big presence. She's got a great knack and ability for the game. She's great on the defensive end and even on the offensive end, and having a big play that you can kick it into and knows how to read the game and pass the ball so well as she does. I think they need to look at her a lot more and keep giving it to her inside.
Lock onto the court for the first time for her first minutes. Froling having a spell on the bench. As slow motion, Cox nails the first attempt. There's Shannon Seabom. Always a big occasion for him. Been there and done that over the years. And 6 in the second as Cox, 18-12. The score lines, the Fire maintaining their advantage on the scoreboard. You do wonder, Alice, whether the crowd is going to become a factor, particularly if it's a tight game. They're almost an extra player in a way.
They definitely are, especially at the Townsville Fire Pit. Once the crowd gets going, and we know that they really like to play with that six-man mentality with the crowd there, they can really heat it up there and they can get this team over the line.
Here's Whitcomb, long-range pass to Wilson. Bountiful amount of experience. Hands it out wide to Griffin. Those two have combined so well over the years. Doesn't quite come off on this occasion. So it'll be a fire ball. The baseline here's Ellis. Really relished further responsibilities in recent times, particularly with Mansfield being out due to hamstring troubles. And I tell you what, she protruded through the gap with consummate ease, puts it in for 2.
She's really played some great minutes, Abby Alice, there, as we see Sammy Whitcomb let one fly. And it was always going to be a matter of time, but Sammy Whitcomb gets heated up. What I really liked about Abby Alice and what I like about her is what she does on the defensive end. She had the 4 steals against Geelong last game. She's active in the defensive end. She plays the defense. She fights over screens and she hustles for this team.
Cox trying to do just that. Couldn't quite find the way through all the daylight. Whitcomb gives it off. Werung, the top 10 for three-point conversions this season. And Ellis applauding. Looks like it's going to go the other way with the contact.
It's great defense on the other end by Mariana Tolo. Way to stay vertical against the Lauren Cox. That's a matchup that I'm really looking forward to watch. But unfortunately down the other end, she just kind of stuck out her hip at the last minute, getting that offensive foul.
So Ellis being omnipresent so far in the court. Minute 39 to go in the quarter. Townsville maintain this form of intensity. Woods Lovely little long-range pass around the quarter to Locke, who just couldn't quite convert. One probably element of her game, Locke, that I think she can improve on is her three-point shooting. She's very good at getting to various positions where she can provide an avenue. Just needs to convert on a more consistent basis, but that comes with time.
That comes with time, and that comes with experience as well. I know I wasn't such a great three-point shooter when I was in my first couple of years in my career, and that just comes with maturity and growth, and it comes with repetition and just doing all the hard work.
How's the steal there from Sammy Whitcomb? Like a thief in the night. Hoops it over the top. Here's Waring for three. Normally pretty good from beyond the arc. Just couldn't quite nail it this time. That one came off the foot there of Tolo inadvertently. Don't see that too often. Wilson with the long-range pass to Whitcomb. On the 45 for the long-range two. Couldn't quite convert this time. Cox with the rebound, but Whitcomb just comes out of nowhere, doesn't she? I can imagine you'd be thinking beyond belief if you're in the opposition that she can just come out of nowhere like that with great athleticism.
She's an incredible player, and what she's done in her career, and just time after time, she's just continually pushing the floor, pushing the offensive end and the defensive end. She never gives up on a play, and you know that Sammy Whitcomb always is going to give you 110% on any given night.
Fortunately, it came off her, so it's a fire ball here. Ellis, under a minute to quarter time. Fowler hands it off. McDowell White onto the court now for the Fire. Ellis steps back with the fadeaway off the rim. Couldn't quite convert it. Griffin with a good rebound. Wonder how many times Griffin and Wilson have combined over the years. If you had $1, you'd be quite wealthy.
Be very rich.
Tolo for the mid-range two. Able to sink it in. Ellis has just been everywhere so far for the Fire.
Last possession here for the Townsville Fire. I think it'd be really smart if they use the clock here and try and get a really good look. We see that they're going to go to a pick and roll action, almost like a Spanish action as we see Jess McDowell White.
Locke trying to convert. There's just a sea of arms around her. Whitcomb in the road once again. As we see the end of the first quarter, and the Townsville Fire leading the Bendigo Spirit 20-15. They got off to a 9-0 start. They maintained the advantage at the first change. WNBL action here on 9. And stay with us for the second quarter.
Yeah, Townsville were really impressive the way they started this game, really methodical the way they played the defense and then pushed the ball on the offensive end. They did really well in that pick and roll action. They were able to exploit the Bendigo defense a little bit, but Bendigo are always going to fight back. They're superstars. They're on top for a reason. The way they play the game, the way they share the ball and get out in transition, and we know they'll make some adjustments in this second quarter.
Underway in the second quarter from the Fire pit. Great to have your company on this New Year's Eve as Woods tries for the early mid-range two, just wide to the right of the basket. Here's Wareham, specialist three-point shooter, in the top 10 for average three-point conversions in the competition this season. Here's Griffin on the 45. Waits for Burton to come through. Eventually falls to the floor. Cops a bit of contact. Foul call.
And Bendigo, talking about three-point percentage in Abbey Wareham. Bendigo shooting that three ball at 42%, as we see here. Just a nice backdoor cut by Veronica Burton, just rolling stuck her leg out just right at the last minute. But they shoot the three ball at a really good clip, and even though they started the game a little bit slow, the way they can get out in transition and light it up at the three ball, it's really nice to watch.
Flung back to Griffin for three. Nothing but net for KG 23.
I love when a player makes me look good. Thanks, KG.
On cue, as if she knew telepathically. Here's Woods with the elbow. Back out, Froling for free now. Bit too much leverage on the shot that time. Chance now for the Spirit. Here's Wilson. Such an evergreen player. Still got plenty of years left in her the way she's playing. Drives underneath the basket, sends it out. Burton in the corner. Moves to the 45. Back to the corner for Wilson. Not quite. The Fire defending valiantly at the moment. Here's a chance for Fowler. Tries to drive, outnumber, gives it to Froling, who went over the top and drew a bit of contact from Tolo in the process.
And that's Mariana Tolo's second foul. And she is so important for this Bendigo Spirit team, so she needs to stay out of foul trouble. So I can imagine she might be heading to the bench.
Well, that was what happened against the Southside Flyers, as you remember, Alice, too. They had to manage her minutes in the second half because I think she already had 3 personal fouls come half-time as Froling misses the first attempt. So it's something to consider, isn't it?
It is, and Casey Samuels has checked back into the game for Mariana Tolo. So a little bit more of small ball, puts Kelsey Griffin in that 5 spot. She is going up against the Lauren Cox, but she can exploit her on the offensive end. She can take rip drives, she can spread the floor and get her out of the key.
They've tightened things up on the scoreboard here, the Spirit. Warren for 3, can put them in front, and she's on cue.
Huge knockdown 3 ball by Abby Warren. She shoots the ball at such a high percentage.
There's a player from Dalesford. Here's a chance for Ellis. Drives forward and retakes the lead for the Fire. They're going to and fro at the Fire pit. Been a good contest so far. Samuels out wide. Burton at open. Look for 3. Oh, they're just converting from all angles.
And that's just a defensive breakdown by the Townsville Fire. Veronica Burton is a really good 3-point shooter, although her game is more to drive to the rim, but you can't just be leaving a player open for the 3 ball there.
Woods had plenty of room, just couldn't quite convert. Warren scampering down to the Spirit. Looked like they've settled things down. From Nerve's point of view, it's a big occasion. Here's Burton for 3. This time it bobbles out. It's going to go the way of the Spirit. Froling asking the question.
And I like that shot by Veronica Burton. She's hit 2 3 balls already. I like that she challenged the defense and she went up for that 3. And they kept the possession there.
So Warren from the baseline. Burton trying to find room, eventually does. Griffin setting the screen. Burton now, Griffin all on her own for 3. And just couldn't quite finish it off, but they had the right idea. Here's Woods. But a good barometer for the Fire so far. And a foul called. See Cox just creating space as well. It's part of her role. Leads the competition in terms of average blocks too, it must be said, in the competition this season. So it's a Fire ball here. Ellis sends it out wide. Woods tries to scamper forward at the elbow. Fires it back. Madell White tried to find Cox. And Samuel's got a hand in. So trying to defend valiantly at the moment.
Good hands by Casey Samuels. They've got 3.2 left on the shot clock. The play would be to get the ball inside. They've got a mismatch with Lauren Cox in the post there, so they'd be looking to get inside and see her go up against Casey Samuels, as we see here.
Couldn't quite convert it. Certainly the right idea. Froling tries to kick it back to McDowell White, but intercepted by Wilson. It's one of her traits. Saw it a lot with the Bendigo Braves during the NBL 1 season. Samuel's attempt for 3, no good. That's the other thing to consider when it comes to fitness. You've really got to be on top of it. A lot of these players playing NBL 1 or playing overseas. Such a key factor, particularly at this time of year. Froling. Woods, McDowell White. Share the ball around. Froling in space, accepts. Drives. wrenched from her control there by Griffin. Froling not happy with the call.
And Kelsey Griffin just read the play perfectly. That's her scout there. She wants to go back to that left hand. It's now her preferred shooting hand. And she just read the defense. She was there for when she had that spin and she had her hands down. She was able to stay out of the foul there.
Wilson to Burton. Impressed with her season, the import. Goes around towards Wilson. Here's Samuels. Tries to drive past, but it's stolen like a cat burglar by Ellis. Strolls in, layup, not quite in. Has a second crack at it. Still can't put the putback in. Woods. Try and fire it out. And there was contact that time. A bit exasperated at the moment, Ellis. She was probably more frustrated with herself than anything.
It was a great steal by Abby Ellis. I spoke about earlier just how she had that 4 steals against Geelong, and she's got such active hands in the way she plays the defense, but couldn't convert on the layups. But great job by the Townsville Fire to stay in the possession and then get the possession back.
So Cox accepts. Fires it back. Woods has been instrumental so far. Interesting listening to her press conference the other day with Shannon Seabom as she puts it back in for 2. Delegating responsibility, but also taking responsibility.
Yeah, Courtney Woods has really done her time at the Townsville Fire. This is her 5th season under Shannon Seabom, and she's learnt so much and she's developed her game. We've seen Sammy Whitcomb just do Sammy Whitcomb things. But the way she's developed her game, and she's been such a student of the game, especially under Shannon Seabom. She's improved her shooting. She's so good in the pick and roll. She's got active hands on the defensive end. She rebounds the ball well. She's really slotted into that leadership role at the Townsville Fire.
See Ellis with the attempted hustle. It was good perceived pressure there from Wilson, who came over the top. Abby Ellis turns 24 next month. She's still got plenty of scope for improvement as well, it must be said. She has acquired a lot of experience already. Playing with Diamond Valley in the NBL 1 South competition. There's the crowd, full of orange, a sea of orange here at the Fire Pit. It's a big occasion as far as sport is concerned in this region, no question about that. You've got the Cowboys in the winter and the Fire in the summer.
Yeah, the Townsville Fire community, I've spoke previously just how amazing they are and how important they are. And this team, they rally and they get around this team so avidly, as we see Sammy Whitcomb try and let one go, but Kelsey Griffin doing Kelsey Griffin things, always there at the right time to get the rebound. But the crowd are just so prominent, the crowd and the community, and the way they get behind this team. It's really amazing to see, and the support that they give the Townsville Fire and women's basketball across Australia.
So a timeout call with Griffin heading to the line. Of course, you can follow all the live stats of today's game in the free WNBL app. You can also check out game highlights, team and player info, and more. Download it from the App Store today. It always comes in handy when you're a statistical nerd like myself, and like yourself, Alice. I know you like numbers.
I do like numbers, actually, which sounds a bit crazy.
Well, you see the timeout. So it looks like the Spirit have regathered their composure, haven't they, after giving away a 9-0 start. This is where, I guess, the temperament test comes with the Fire now. They want to try and harness the energy around that crowd and make sure that the Spirit don't get out to a healthy lead, because they can punish and capitalise. They're that type of side.
The Bendigo Spirit, they can put points on the board at will. They can score the ball really quickly. They've got so many great scorers from nearly every single position on the floor, basically every single position. They want to get out and play in transition. But great job by the Townsville Fire. They want to keep you in that half-court game like I spoke about earlier. They want to grind you down. They're not going to get out in the 100 points there, the Townsville Fire. They want to stay in that half-court game. So, you know, it's a great defensive game by both teams so far, and I think both teams have really stuck to the scout. And it'll be interesting to see how they make the next adjustments, and in this next 5 minutes, who gets out for that lead and who can really take the lead and solidify themselves before the halftime break.
Even the perceived pressure that's been applied out there, it's very intense. Griffin from the line. This is the first attempt. But that's where experience comes into it, that Bendigo Spirit lineup. When they face an early deficit, they don't get deterred. That doesn't always happen. Nails the second attempt, so 3-point game. Just over 5 minutes remaining until halftime here at the Fire Pit. Hope you're enjoying it on 9 now and on the various social media platforms. Here's Froling. Quick give, playing against her old side as well, Alicia Froling, it should be said. Drives in to the post, confronted by Samuels. It's not going to deter her from the shot. It just couldn't quite roll in.
And the Bendigo Spirit are helping off so much on Alicia Froling. As See a few bodies go down there. She's not generally known for her three-point shooting ability. She can shoot the three ball, and we see that she's changed that left hand, but they're really helping off. So we see Kelsey Griffin almost packing the paint. So they're daring her to shoot that three ball.
See Samuels trying to protrude through there. Very good three-point shooter, as we know. That's her forte. Ariana Tolo, we spoke about potentially managing her minutes. She acquires too many personal fouls, as we saw against the Southside Flyers just before Christmas, but very, very damaging player at both ends of the court. Very good with her blocks. So the Spirit with possession. Burton combines with Tolo. Now Whitcomb. Dangerous from here, Sammy Whitcomb. Well, Tolo didn't see that one coming, I think, from Sammy Whitcomb, and they pay the price. Woods. Now an open look for three from Ellis, and she loves it, and so do the crowd.
Tied ball game there at the 5 pit, and great recognition out in transition. Abby Ellis shooting that three ball with confidence there.
She's growing in confidence. The more the responsibility is provided to her. Whitcomb to Griffin. Can she respond here for the Spirit? Yes, she can. Who else but KG23?
Steadying bucket by KG. Just getting to that foul line. They thought they were going to switch, but two players went to that cutting player. KG just knocking down that two ball.
Alistair Froling. It's interesting watching Keely and Alicia Froling go at it together when they played the Geelong United at the Fire, as Cox, attempt for two, doesn't quite go in. Poking each other like typical sisters.
Typical sisters and twins.
Correct. Right in front of the referee as well. That came off the foot there of Cox. As we see a substitution made here with Werran coming back onto the floor for the Bendigo Spirit. A very fit player, as we've seen. So Whitcomb with possession. Tolo. Burton, the American import, sends it back to Whitcomb for three. She's normally damaging in this situation. And what Sammy wants, Sammy gets. So the Spirit trying to establish a bit of a buffer here. There's a chance for Woods. It's been an interesting matchup between her and Whitcomb as the foul is called. Who would you say has had more of an impact on the game so far, Woods or Whitcomb?
I think equally they've both really had an impact on the game. Woody, 2 of 5 field goals, 6 points. She's got 4 rebounds, 5 assists, but she's got the 6 turnovers there. And Sammy, conversely, on the other end, she's got the 7 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist too. So I think equally they've both had their impact on the game. They are such great passes out of the pick and roll. They can get out in transition and fly the floor. And I think what they both are doing on the defensive end is really great for both of their teams.
Converts the free throws there, does Woods. It's interesting with the Townsville Fire. They're probably, in terms of free throw conversions, in the bottom half of the competition, but they were sensational against Geelong United the other day. First 11 free throw attempts were successful, so they've improved in that aspect of the game. Tolo at the top. Gives it to Whitcomb. Sammy certainly lifted as the game has worn on. Here's a chance for Samuels for three. Oh, she loves it from beyond the arc. And again, she converts.
And that's all because everyone has to help off Sammy Whitcomb. Sammy Whitcomb is so deadly when she comes off that pick and roll action. She can turn the corner. So you have to help, but then you're actually giving up a three ball to Casey Samuels on the other end, shooting the ball at a really nice clip.
Ellis responding from the elbow with 2. So the margin back to 4 here as we approach half time. Here's Werran with fresh legs for 2. Off the ring. Ellis with the easy rebound. She's been working tirelessly. When we get to the festive season, when you're playing year-long basketball, Alice, I can imagine this is where fitness really does come in.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think as players we really get that time to get unfit in the game. And Townsville Fire are such a great team. Brent Gorris, he really runs that team, and I was lucky enough to be under Brent Gorris with the Australian Opals and the Townsville Fire, and he does such a great job at getting his players fit and ready to play basketball and a full season and stay healthy and stay fit. So, you know, these girls are looking great out here, and we know that the festive season, we wish we could have a break, and I know a couple of teams got a few days here and there, but everyone loves watching basketball, especially the festive season as well. Exactly right. Burton floored there by Fowler, so we see a timeout called with just over 2 minutes remaining until half-time. The Spirit with a 4-point advantage over the Townsville Fire. It's been toing and froing in terms of momentum so far in this contest, no question about that. But the Spirit, certainly in recent times, have
responded when challenged, I think it's fair to say, Alice.
They're just superstars of the game. They have so much experience. You spoke about that experience that they have there. They've got dual Olympians in there. Sammy Whitcomb, another Olympian, bronze medal Olympic players there. Callie Wilson, I think she's played 400 games. Yep. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kelsey Griffin's been in the league for a lot of years. She's got such a wealth of experience. So they've got players who know how to win. They've got players who've won championships before. So they know how to win. They know how to stay in games.
Just a call out to all sports teams. You can say goodbye to travel headaches and hello to CTM Sports. CTM are 100% committed to delivering excellence in their field. Leave the logistics to the travel experts so your athletes can focus on what they do best. Learn more at ctmsport.com.au. Right about that experience, Alice, and when the pressure is on, it certainly does come to the fore. Even just second-guessing yourself at times, it becomes less and less of a problem the more experience you acquire.
Well, basketball's a game of highs and lows and runs and momentum, and you've just got to try and keep the, got to keep really even keel, so not too high and not too low depending on the momentum of the game, and momentum can shift so quickly, so just got to stay true to your game plan, stay true to your work. That's something I've always really been told. Just stay true to your work and just keep playing the percentages.
Tolo around the corner, knocks it in for two. That's what Mariana's capable of, both ends of the court making an impact. So extends the lead for the Spirit. Cox and Woods combining. Froling. He's got an open look here. Elects to go out wide. Fowler. What can the Fire muster here? McDowell White to Cox in the open corner for three. That will get the crowd going.
Nice recognition by Lauren Cox there. She has the ability to stretch the ball and shoot that three ball. And she's so deadly inside, but also to have a player that can stretch the floor there and shoot the three ball is such a great percentage. So good for the Townsville Fire.
She's ranked 5th in the competition for field goal percentage at 45.9% is Cox. Here's Whitcomb, the leader in most statistical categories, but she's blocked there. Froling saying, get out of my house. Here's Fowler. Gives it to Cox. Can she make an impact again? Tries to fire it back to Froling, just miscued in the end. Spirit away on the counter-attack. Werran. On the 45, has the confidence to drive forward and almost puts it in for two, just bobbles out. Cox with the rebound again. So a chance for the Fire to initiate an attack. McDowell White, patient in her approach. Tries to fire it back. Woods, Froling. Pirouettes her way out of trouble, runs into Tolo and ricochets to Werran. So good defense from Mariana.
Once again, they're just recognizing that Alicia Froling, she wants to spin back to that left hand. So Tolo, well done to get that block and well done to stay out and not get that third foul there.
Approaching half-time, Burton, is there one more twist in the tail? Tolo, last chance, doesn't quite get there. And at half-time, we've got a good contest. A pretty even keel one at that. The Bendigo Spirit holding a narrow lead over the Townsville Fire in New Year's Eve action, 37-34. Back with some half-time analysis shortly.
Jackson blows the roof off. Wow, it's LJ the GOAT. There's Jackson again.
Well, that's something that they're going to have to take care of business.
Through every heartache, through every cheer, we won't give up till the final buzzer. We've never been more ready.
Need the composure. Jackson blows the roof off. Wow, it's LJ the GOAT. There's Jackson again.
Well, that's something that they're going to have to take care of business.
Through every heartache, through every cheer, we won't give up till the final buzzer. We've never been more ready.
Get closer to the game with the free WNBL app.
Clark with the N1.
Check out the fixture and grab your tickets.
What a finish to the third quarter.
Catch game highlights, stay connected to your favourite player or team, and follow live game stats. Anytime, anywhere.
Cole, cracks two more.
The WNBL app is where it's at. Download now.
Celebrating 50 years of sneakers?
For a delicious dinner that disappears and lets you squeeze in one more episode before bed. Pick up Latina Fresh, Australia's favourite pasta and sauce. Latina, we got the weeknight.
Ford dealers have backed sport in communities for nearly 100 years. And now, from the Boomers and Opals to Aussie Hoops, your local Ford dealer is proud to support basketball. Because all dreams start somewhere.
Ellis this time steps inside, pretty step. Awesome finish. 2-second differential between game time and shot clock here. Ali Wilson and me here. Hard, aggressive inside, gets the 2 to go.
Wilson pushing the pace, not much time left. Great work, Ali Wilson. She's hyped, up and about, why wouldn't she be? Beautiful pass, and Talbot with the finish. Alley-oop. Outstanding play from the Lightning.
Welcome back to the fire pit, the Townsville Entertainment Centre. It's half-time in this New Year's Eve blockbuster. A good crowd in attendance. The Spirit holding a narrow 3-point lead over the home side, 37-34. Now, you may notice today that players from both teams have a purple band around the top of their singlet. This band is a powerful symbol of support for survivors of domestic violence. This season, the WNBL clubs, athletes and the Players Association have united to raise awareness around this critical issue. Enough is enough. A life free from violence is possible. And when everyone plays a role, real change happens. Learn how you can be part of the solution by visiting Full Stop Australia. Damien Watson and Alice Koenig in commentary. Now, we speak of New Year's Eve. Name along with 5 rebounds and 2 assists, and she is such a fit player, so she thrives when the going gets tough, but also when the going gets tight, if we have a tight game.
Yeah, you never have to question Sammy Whitcomb's motor and the way that she plays the game. She just plays with such energy and effort, and she just has a love for her teammates. And I've been lucky enough to play with Sammy in multiple seasons and with the Australian Opals, and just the way she encourages her teammates and gets around them. She thrives in these environments. She loves these moments where, you know, it's the game's on her, the game's on the line, and she just takes the game on her shoulders, and she gets her teammates around her. And I know this next second half will be no different.
We're underway in the third quarter. The Spirit holding on to a narrow 3-point lead. The Fire trying to stay in touch here. Fowler around the corner. Froling sends it back for Ellis, who's been superb so far in this contest. Thought about the shot. Has Fowler with an open look for 3 off the window. And an easy rebound for the Spirit as Wilson directs the traffic. Just got to be wary of that open player, don't they? On the transition, the Spirit are normally pretty efficient. Tolo to Wilson. Griffin, the big names combining. Here's Whitcomb from beyond the arc. Couldn't quite nail it that time. I think probably the one game where she didn't stand out as much, and we know she has high standards, and we probably rate her very highly in that respect as well, was a game against Southside. So it'll be interesting to see whether they try and nullify her in some way, shape or form. Here's Ellis. Drives to Froling and lays it in for 2. That's the start to the third quarter the Fire wanted.
And that's a great pick and roll action by the Townsville Fire. They are so good in that pick and roll action. They drill that so well. Setting good screens, you're most likely going to get your teammate or yourself open.
Griffin with a bit of an air ball. Here's a chance for Woods. Has been a great instigator, creating passages here for the Fire. Fowler, open look for 3, nothing but net.
And I love that by Alex Fowler. She missed that last one, and in that, that's that experience and that confidence as a player that you've got to back yourself and you've got to knock down that next one.
It's the second time already this quarter she's been open in that corner. The 3-point attempt, Tolo to try and respond for the Spirit, and she does, levels the scores.
Tolo just so good in the post. She's so poised, and she's done that so many times. She just lulls the defender into thinking she's going one way and then spins back another.
Cox for 3, couldn't quite nail it, foul called. Whitcomb a little bit exasperated there.
I think Sammy Whitcomb wanted that push in the back there, but I think it's just a Townsville ball. I think the ball was off Sammy Whitcomb there.
So, chance now for the Fire. Can they respond here? Woods besieged upon. Froling, hustling, tries to wrench herself free, gives it back to Cox. Ellis thought about the 3-point attempt, fires it into Cox, drives, got Burton on her hammer, shot clock expires. Wasn't going to go in anyway.
Great defensive possession by the Bendigo Spirit. Sammy Whitcomb just having active hands on every possession. She didn't get it every time, but she just made the offense really second guess what they were going to do on the offensive end, as Tolo goes back to exactly the same move down the other end.
Going around the corner, just utilising her height and her physical presence in attack. She's very good in defence as well. Ellis, patient in her build-up. Here's Froling. Fires it back, Woods. Froling setting the screen here. Woods persists for the mid-range two. Doesn't quite lurch it in. Good rebound from Whitcomb.
And this is where the Bendigo Spirit can get out in transition. They've strung together two defensive stops. And they can push the ball in transition. Veronica Burton unlucky to see that one go down, but stays in the possession.
Good with her hustle there. Jump ball called. And she's very alert from the, I guess, an opposition point of view, Alice, as we saw in that game against the Southside Flyers just before Christmas. Burton doesn't probably get the credit, in my view, that she deserves. She's a very good initiator and directs the traffic pretty well, and has that uncanny ability to read the play and see what's ahead of her, one step ahead.
Well, generally the offense of the Bendigo Spirit is normally going through a player like Sammy Whitcomb, Mariana Tolo, Kelsey Griffin, but when players are being taken out of the game, you know, in that defense that the Southside Flyers played on Sammy Whitcomb, they did a great job of taking Sammy out of that game, and that's both times. A player like Veronica Burton, she stepped up. She knows her role in this team, and she knows the moments when she's able to create for others, or when she really needs to take over on the offensive end, and she has that ability to do that.
So saw Whitcomb in shot before. Here's Burton. Again, trying to look one step ahead. Griffin, back to Burton. Whitcomb, not long left on the shot clock here. Tries to go for broke and can't quite register a score. Chance for the Fire. Ellis almost caught one. An old coat hanger, as they say in the Aussie rules parlance.
And that's Mariana Tolo's third foul. She needs to protect that third foul. That was probably just a little bit of a brain fade there. She probably didn't need to stick her hands in there.
It's probably also a contrast in height in a way as well, because Ellis was on the way up and just one of those situations.
And that's where, as a player, you see the ball and your instinct is just to go and get that ball, but Mariana Tolo needs to protect that third foul, and she's going to have to play and not pick up that fourth.
Here's Cox. Back to Ellis on the 45. It's been troublesome for the opposition so far tonight. Finds a way through. Just dug herself out of the ground and puts it in for two. So the score's level once again. It's been an even keel contest at the Fire Pit. Here's Whitcomb. She's got Fowler on her hammer. Whitcomb, an uncanny ability to find space. Looks for two off the glass and makes no mistake.
Impressive possession there by Sammy Whitcomb. Sammy really wants to always reject the picks, and Alex Fowler did a great job at recognising that and cutting that pick off there. And Sammy Whitcomb just showing her class and her expertise and her ability to finish at the rim.
She's stepping up as the game wears on, as has been the case so often this season. Sammy Whitcomb stepping up to the plate, another two to her name.
And that's a tough matchup for Alex Fowler there. She has the height advantage, but Sammy Whitcomb has that speed advantage on her. So you can't give her too much space because she's such a great three-point shooter, but then you've got to also defend her on when she wants to go to the rim.
There's some flying to the floor there with the foul called. I think with Sammy Whitcomb, one of the most deceptive elements, I reckon, about her game, she's actually deceptively physical. When you try and match her up with two defenders, she has an ability to protrude through. She doesn't look necessarily like the strongest player on the face of it, but she just finds a way through.
Sammy Whitcomb's the hardest worker in the gym. She's always in the gym. She's always working on her body. She's always looking after her body, and I'm sure she could probably lift more than anyone on this. She doesn't look it, but she's so strong and she uses her body so well, Sammy Whitcomb.
Woods with the attempted layup, no good there. Samuels fires it back to Burton. She was the fire starter for the Spirit against the Southside Flyers, and she's starting a fire there with two. Such a damaging player. As the timeout is called, just under 5 minutes remaining until three-quarter time. The Spirit again edging out to a little bit of a buffer after it looked as if the Fire were gaining traction. Did gain the lead for a brief period.
And the Bendigo Spirit have just strung together 2 or 3 defensive stops in a row. They played that Spanish action, the Townsville Fire, but Courtney Wood's missing that ball, missing that layup, and that's where defense can really lead into offense. They pick the ball off the rim really quickly. They get out and play in transition. They've got players who can get on the rim, and we spoke about Victoria Burton. She was finishing strong there.
Of course, WNBL brought to you by Ford. Ford dealers are all about supporting the game here in Australia. From Ford Aussie Hoops to the WNBL, we've been backing Aussie sports and communities for nearly 100 years. So when you're ready to hit the court, your local Ford dealer is here to help you get to the game. See a lot of nice decorations amongst the Townsville spectators as well. They're getting their money's worth so far. Lots of hats and signs from the supporters.
And just on the back of that one, Damien, Ford have been an incredible sponsor of Australian basketball. They've got the Ford Aussie Hoops program, and they've really supported the Opals and the Boomers this year, and every team in the league. I know Knox Ford really supports the Southside Flyers. So just want to give a huge shout out to Ford all across the league, Opals, Boomers, what they've done for our league to give us, you know, a car right sponsor, an Australian car right sponsor. It's just incredible, and we're super grateful for that.
Absolutely. So about to resume hostilities again. The Spirit holding on to that 6-point buffer. Froling combining with Ellis here. Aaron trying to apply the perceived pressure, which has certainly been evident in Bendigo's games so far tonight. Alicia Froling hands it back. Woods cuts across into the post, puts it in for 2 off the glass. Oh, she's just so persistent in that situation. We've seen that so often. Set the tone earlier tonight. Gaining ground inside the arc. Burton, Whitcomb. They respond here, the Spirit, as they've done so often tonight. Griffin goes to ground. Just that size differential again there with Ellis coming to the fore.
And I like that play by the Bendigo Spirit. Victoria Burton just going to set a screen on Lauren Cox. But Abby Ellis read the play really well. She knows that Kelsey Griffin, she wants to drive on that right hand. That is the play that they want to get. They want to get her on her right hand, curling to the rim. Abby Ellis read that play brilliantly.
That's right. Obviously offensive. So, chance now for the Fire. Can they take advantage? Ellis. Got Froling in support, uses Woods at the top, drives inboard. Couldn't quite nail it. Not enough leverage on the shot. Good rebound from Griffin. Here's Sammy Whitcomb again. Drives, finds space again. That uncanny ability to find space. And Sammy Whitcomb is on a bit of a scoring rampage this quarter.
And Sammy Whitcomb really exploiting the defense of the Townsville Fires. We see Alicia Froling go for one down the other end. I spoke about they are in a bit of a mismatch with Sammy Whitcomb. They've got Alex Fowler, who's a bit of a taller guard. She's more used to playing on post plays. So to play against someone with the skill caliber of Sammy Whitcomb, as we see her just get downhill, basically shake 3 players off. That's what Sammy does so well, and we spoke about her being able to use her body, especially out in transition. She's able to take hits and finish strong.
Yeah, 1 for Froling. Can't convert the extra. However, she's going to go back to the line here. I mentioned Sammy Whitcomb before. I think it was a case of just putting the brakes on and reading the situation the better. Converts the second attempt as Froling. So the margin back to 3 points. It's been a tight tussle all evening, probably with the exception of the first few minutes when Townsville got off to that 9-0 flyer for those just tuning in. Bendigo have wrenched them back. Here's Whitcomb for 3. Off the rim. Good rebound there from Burton. Right spot at the right time. Werran gives it off, and Samuels finishes it off with 2.
And Samuels has been really impressive off the bench. She's 3 of 4 from the field. She's got the 8 points, and she's played her role perfectly off the bench. She spent a lot of the start of the season starting the game, but with Kelsey Griffin back in the lineup, she's gone to the bench, but she's still playing that role perfectly and being deadly on the offensive end.
Yeah, the speak of the devil gives it off, and, well, the specialist beyond the arc, Werran, salutes with 3. Mentioned Sammy Whitcomb, 16 points to her name. Burton has 10 already. Tolo with a nice block setting up that transition to the other end where Bendigo were able to score. Here's Ellis at the top. Good screen set by Froling, allows Ellis for the 3-point attempt. Couldn't convert the triple. Rebound to Samuels. As I said, providing that set of fresh legs. Burton receiving from Werran. Back to Werran. Open look for 3 again. Oh, she finds the net at will, Abby Werran.
Back-to-back triples for Abby Werran. And that's just creative out of dribble penetration. They're trying to dribble into the key, and they're just finding an open shooter in Abby Wirang. She's got 8 points to her name.
He has come into the game the last couple of minutes. Ellis confronted, travel called from the referee. Some good pressure there coming the other way.
And the Bendigo Spirit just upping their defensive intensity. They're trying to force turnovers, and they're trying to force the Townsville Fire out of their system. And they're converting on the other end.
I see how crucial plays like this or moves like this from a scoring point of view in the third quarter have been. Bendigo faced it at the hands of Southside just before Christmas with yourself, Alice. Now they're producing the goods. Whitcomb for three, couldn't quite convert. Cox with the rebound. If you can set yourself up with a nice platform coming into the final quarter, just takes the sting out of the pressure. Here's Woods outnumbered. Tries to find Cox. Did well to latch onto that one. Whitcomb not happy with the call. There was contact though by the looks of it to the naked eye.
Sometimes I wish we had a review system just like the NBL does to see if things were actually a foul or not.
DRS in the cricket, which made news the last few days. Whitcomb a bit exasperated, but I think Samuels knew. Cox puts in the first. They desperately need scoreboard pressure here at the Fire as we lead into the final break. Let the Spirit get away to a bit of a buffer. 2 from 2 from the line for Cox. Valuable points.
And talking about valuable points, the Bendigo Spirit have 17 points from their bench, and the Townsville Fire have none. So that's where we see the impact of Saffron Shields, Lauren Mansfield. Their bench isn't as deep as what it previously has been in previous games before. And the Bendigo Spirit utilising their bench. They've come in and stayed aggressive. Players like Casey Samuels, Abby Wirang, they've come on aggressive and they've shot the ball with confidence.
That's right. I think fatigue might become a factor in that respect as well. Spoke about Wirang's performance in the last 5 minutes. Has somewhat turned the game from a momentum point of view. It'll be a baseline ball here for the Spirit. We haven't lost faith, the Fire crowd. They're still chanting on. 1.5 minutes out from three-quarter time. Whitcomb from the baseline here. Finds Burton with the bounce pass. Tried to give it to Tolo likewise, but couldn't quite pull it off. Ellis with the steal. Gives it to Locke. Layup is converted. That's the Fire starter they wanted here in Townsville.
And that's the Townsville Fire's 15th point off the Bendigo Spirit turnovers. So they've done really well on really pushing the ball and capitalising on the turnovers of the Bendigo Spirit.
Burton with the bounce pass. Samuels too much latitude and makes the pay.
That's just too easy by the Townsville Fire. You've got to recognise that Casey Samuels is such a great three-point shooter. She shot the ball at a high percentage. She's 2 of 3 from the three-point line. You can't be giving her open looks like that.
There's a chance for Woods. Quick give. Cox tried to fade away. Foul called.
That's Mariana Tolo's 4th personal foul. And the minute she fouled, she knew it. She just put her hand up. She knew she'd got that 4th foul. It's heading to the bench.
Well, strategically, I wonder what the powers that be do here in terms of managing her minutes from this point onwards. She's now on the bench, so be interesting to see what happens. Saw this a couple of weeks ago. Cox, meantime, from the line. Nails the first.
And Nightingale checking in for the Bendigo Spirit. There's 1 minute left in this, just under 1 minute left in this third quarter. If they can steady it here, get a score on the offensive end, and then get a stop, they'll head into this three-quarter time in really good stead.
Whitcomb 16 points. Samuels now up to 11, making an impact particularly in this quarter. Burton with 6 assists. Here's Whitcomb. Fires it out to Burton. Can she add her name to the repertoire? Yes, she can from beyond the arc.
Sammy Whitcomb was hyped. They're shooting the 3-ball to a whopping 45%, the Bendigo Spirit. Just lights out.
Whitcomb has been instrumental in this quarter. Burton, likewise. Letting the clock run down before they pull the trigger. Ellis harassing her. Burton up to the task. Froling goes down. In fact, it was Fowler that went down. So just initiating a bit of contact there. 9.5 seconds to go until three-quarter time. The Spirit with that 11-point advantage. They're very difficult to mow down on the scoreboard, as we've seen so often this season. This will be a big testament for the character of Townsville if they can work their way back into the contest. Froling back on. Fowler coming off for the last 9 seconds.
And this is where I think that the lack of bench might go against the Townsville Fire. They play such a high-tempo game. They've played a few games back-to-back. It's been a lot of basketball that they've played, and a lot of starters have played a lot of big minutes. And Bendigo Spirit have that ability to rotate and get their bench through.
A fair amount of road trips themselves at recent times. Here's a chance for Samuels for 3. Off the glass. Big chance for Ellis, but the Hail Mary is going to fall short. So at the last change, 3/4 time, the Bendigo Spirit careering away to an 11-point advantage at the final change. They lead 63-52. Is there a few more twists in the tail? We'll find out after this.
Which one's the Nita cake? I think it's right, ladies, can you grab yourself a chicken? This is how you answer the questions. Can we check buzzer? Works. Alright. Kate, here we go. Question number 1. Domain Central has how many free car parks? Multiple choice. A, 5,000. B, under 300. C, over 1,400. B, under 300, no. C it is. Over 300. All right, if you've been paying attention to the room, you should be right with these next couple of questions. How many player numbers has the Fire retired? Case. 4! Oh, a little cheeky, Ben. We'll give it to her, I reckon, still. I think you win. We've got one more question anyway, so I think
welcome back to the Townsville Entertainment Centre New Year's Eve action in the Signet WNBL. We see some of the highlights from Veronica Burton, who really came into her own in that 3rd quarter. A nice steal there, causing the turnover, but initiating a lot of attacks and scoring herself as well. 13 points to her name, along with 2 rebounds and 6 assists. She really has been a barometer, Alice Kunik.
Yeah, and she's shooting the 3 ball. It's 75%, 3 or 4 from the 3 ball. She's been confident the way she's gone about her business. And they've just had a great 3rd quarter. We see they've pushed the ball in transition, as we see here. They've shot the ball. They've been selfless. They've gotten on the rim. They've moved the ball through hands. That was a really great quarter of basketball by the Bendigo Spirit. Now how did the Townsville Fire respond in this 4th quarter?
We're underway. It's all or nothing in this final quarter. Lock. What can the Townsville Fire muster? Here's Froling at the top. Woods wrenching her arms free. Cox drives and puts it in for the basket. Perfect start to the final quarter for the Fire.
And this is where the Townsville Fire have the advantage on the offensive end. Casey Samuels and Nightingale in that 4-5 position against Lauren Cox. Townsville Fire need to get her the ball inside, get her utilising on the rim.
Samuels was good in the 3rd, couldn't quite nail the triple attempt there. Have a second crack at it perhaps. Fires it off to Burton. 24-year-old from Massachusetts finds Whitcomb in space, gives it off. Werren, very good from beyond the arc. Couldn't nail it this time.
Another offensive rebound by the Bendigo Spirit.
Werren a second attempt, just couldn't quite nail it. Going to ground there was Froling. Always gives her all in a physical sense and a mental sense. Here's Ellis. 9 minutes to go. Woods confronted by Burton. Tries to drive her way forward and managed to somehow wrench her arms free and put it in for 2.
Great finish by Courtney Woods. She's so good on the on-ball screen, the way she uses her body, takes the hit and finishes strong.
There's a chance for Samuels. Coming onto the court now for the Spirit Nightingale. Obviously with Tolo on limited minutes. And Burton locked out there by Cox, the leading average blocker in the game, doing her work there.
Not sure about that business decision by Veronica Burton. But I like the attack, but Lauren Cox is so good on the defensive end. She reads the play so well, and she has that long wingspan for the shot blocking ability.
Whitcomb actually hit the back of the backboard there as she tried to, don't see that too often. Trying to get it into the perimeter. So as a result, the Fire will have possession now. You ever do that in your junior days or in your WNBL career? I mean, it happens. It happens. It shows that it happens to the best of us.
Oh, I've done plenty. Plenty of silly stuff, Damien.
Shannon Seabom marking the instructions. They managed to work the deficit back to 7 points here. The Fire, they'll have the crowd support if it gets tight late. Here's Ellis. Cox in space, accelerates away, bounce pass to Froling, loses it, tries to hustle for it. Numbers with the Spirit, and they're away through Whitcomb.
Incredible by Kelsey Griffin. She was out of play on that defensive end, but just was able to stay in it. They just all collapsed on the defensive end.
Get a second crack at it here with Tolo missing the layup attempt. Here's Cox again.
And it just feels like the Bendigo Spirit should be up by 20 points. And you mentioned that it's only a 7-point ball game. They're just within reach. They're one possession on the offensive end and one on the defensive end to making this a really tight ball game.
Cox trying to drive through Tolo, fades away, can't convert. Burton with the rebound. She's been surveying what's ahead for much of the contest. Does so here. Heads back to Wilson. Bountiful amount of experience. Here's Tolo for the long range two, gets it open, look at it, can't convert. Cox with the rebound. Been end-to-end so far in this final quarter. Fowler couldn't put through the layup attempt. It was an open look. Froling with the putback attempt, couldn't put it in either.
And both teams just trying to get out and play in transition, but just playing a little bit rushed. They just need to steady the ship here, get the ball through hands, run a set, get a good possession on the rim.
Here's Whitcomb, finds Tolo. In the post, fade away for two. Mariana salutes as she puts it in.
Wow. Great bucket there by Mariana Tolo, off the 1 foot.
Fading away as well. Here's Woods. Can she respond in kind? Burton comes in, applying the defensive pressure. It will be a Fire ball. 65-56. Spirit probably since the halfway mark of the first quarter, maybe had their noses in front in terms of dictating terms. The Fire have had their moments, but the Spirit have been more consistent.
Yeah, both teams have really upped their pressure on the defensive end.
Here's Woods, tried for the fadeaway, did all the hard work, it was blocked out, and Mariana says, I'm taking control here. Gives it to Whitcomb.
Tolo just needs to keep her cool in this last quarter. She's got the 4 fouls. We know we'd love to see her out there for the rest of this New Year's Eve game. And she's so great for her team. They need her on the floor. She's such a big inside presence on the offense and on the defensive end.
So timeout called, 6.5 minutes remaining. The Spirit by 9 points. Now for a quick and easy weeknight dinner, particularly on New Year's Eve, that the whole family will enjoy. Pick up a family pack of Latina fresh pasta and sauce. Ready in minutes and so delicious there won't be any complaints at the dinner table. Find Latina fresh in a chilled pasta aisle near you. Very quick and easy when you've got New Year's Eve obligations like pretty much everyone does, I would reckon, tonight. So this timeout, what would be said by Shannon Seabom here? Alice, I know that's the obvious question. I mean, they have made a few small inroads, but still a lot of work to do.
Well, there's still a lot of time in this ball game. There's still 6.5 minutes left in the ball game. You just got to keep chipping away. Stay true to the offensive sets. Get the ball through hands. They've got to get better looks on the offensive end. They have been a bit rushed. They've missed probably 3 or 4 layups that they probably should have made. And then on the defensive end, they've just got to lock down. They've got to rebound the ball. Once they've secured that ball, get out and run in transition.
Sometimes that can happen when you're coming into a final quarter. The adrenaline rush, I can imagine, to be absolutely flowing. It's about tempering that balance, which I reckon to be hard, easier said than done.
Well, the game's not going to be won in 1 or 2 possessions. Like I said, there's still a lot of time in this ball game. There's still a lot of momentum shifts that are going to happen in the next 6.5 minutes. You've just got to stay really calm and just chip away at that scoreboard and just put scoreboard pressure on yourself.
So, what are we in store for the last 6.5 minutes? Bendigo have possession. Wilson receiving from Burton. Gets it back. Veronica Burton, instrumental in the third quarter. Fires it back. Griffin. Well, the bounce pass I think was intended for Whitcomb, but Sammy Whitcomb went the other way. So it'll be a Townsville ball here through Froling. What can they initiate here? Ellis has been a workhorse, just scampering around. Great fitness. Abby Ellis. And the crowd fire up for them here. Cox at the top. Drives. Finds a way through. And off the glass puts it in for the layup for 2.
That's a nice take by Lauren Cox. She recognised that Mariana Tolo probably wasn't going to help him pick up that fifth foul. As we see Fowler on the other end get that foul on Griffin. But if I'm Townsville, I'm trying to go at Mariana Tolo. You want to try and get her out of this game. So get her in pick and roll actions. Get Lauren Cox down low in the post and see, is she going to foul? Or is Lauren Cox going to be aggressive and get to the rim?
Yeah, close enough, the Fire. 7 points the margin. Just need to regain a bit of momentum. Whitcomb has been standing in their way. The atmosphere permeating around this venue. Grand one at that. Wilson to Whitcomb. Tolo on the 45. Chances the arms. Tries to find an option. Does so through Burton. Not long to go on the shot clock here. Burton goes for three. Can't nail it. Off the rim as the shot clock expires. Good hustle there from Woods. Showing a bit of leadership there out to Ellis. 5.5 minutes remaining. Oh, gee, Woods got in their way. Can you believe that? Burton can capitalise here and does so efficiently. How often do you see that? The pressure really starting to come to the fore.
And Veronica Burton is so good in the open court, the offensive transition. And even when the defense is on her, like I said, she uses her body so well as we see here. She just picks it up. She's still got Abby Ellis on her in the replay, but she just uses the ball. She's able to swing it back to her right hand and finish strong.
And one, so for the extra here, Burton puts it in. I just wonder what sort of psychological blow that could be for the Fire. It's out to 10 points, and it was through an unforced error, really. Ellis, this will be a test of their character. Cox at the top. Can she reignite the spark? Well, Griffin came in and put it out.
And Townsville Fire going back to the same play, which I like to see. They wanted to get that screen on Lauren Cox to go downhill and get on the rim. Bendigo Spirit read the play really well. Kelsey Griffin went under the pick, and she was able to get a hand on that and gain possession for her team.
So just over 5 minutes remaining. Spirit out to a 10-point buffer again. You can see a little bit of dejection there from Abby Ellis. Just got to pick themselves up, even when things aren't going your way. She may do so in the last 5 minutes.
Really promising for the Townsville Fire. They've got 32 points in the paint. They haven't shot the three ball as well as the Bendigo Spirit, but they've been able to get downhill and get on the rim, and that comes a lot out of that pick and roll action and the way they play the game.
Here's Griffin. Tolo feigned the shot, then drives away through and puts it in for two.
Huge finish by Mariana Tolo there.
Now called, and we should mention, as far as the Fire are concerned, just for context for those that might just be tuning in now, no Samuels and no Mansfield. Two players who provide assets in their own separate ways. We know Mansfield plays a similar role to Ellis on screen as a bit of a zippy player. And Shields, obviously, that youthful exuberance, as we saw, came to the fore against Geelong United. She was full of confidence, so shame she misses out on an occasion like this. Still a youngster, though. There's plenty of big occasions to come.
Plenty of basketball for Saffron Shields in her career. Great defensive possession by the Bendigo Spirit. And that's what losing a player like Zaya Cook, and then you want players like Mansfield and Abby Ellis to take that. So when one of them goes down, it just puts a lot of pressure on that bench. And Jess McDowell White hasn't played a huge amount of minutes, so in a game with such big importance as this, maybe Shannon Seabohm's not looking to put her in right now when the game is really on the line for this team.
Whitcomb to Burton. Clock ticks down to 4.5 minutes. The margin at 12. Burton, strategic. Tolo, back to Burton. Mid-range to attempt. Not enough juice on the shot. Fires out. Woods, can they respond here, the Fire? Here's Fowler to put a bit of life into the crowd. Lays it in for two. So the margin back to 10. Burton now up to 16 points. Cox with 15 for the Fire. It's amazing, Veronica Burton, just her impact around the court. 6 assists as well, 4 rebounds, a block, a few steals. As I said, one step ahead of the game, Veronica Burton.
She's playing with a 13 on the plus minus. She's been fouled 6 times in the game, so it just shows her ability to get on the rim. She uses her body really well. 3 steals and 100% from the foul line.
Coach Kennedy, as they call him, just barking the instructions. Not barking necessarily, but certainly directing the Happy with the way the Spirit have played, particularly in the second half so far. Here's Whitcomb. Out to Burton, again verbally directing the traffic, sizing up the options. Griffin on the 45, loops it over the top to Tolo. Can she drive her way through here? She's been very good in this final quarter, can't quite caress her way through. Woods, Ellis, good take, under pressure from Wilson. Gives it back to Cox. Here's Woods. They're going to make a last-ditch run here, the Fire. Woods to Ellis. Protrudes underneath the basket, just couldn't put the finishing touches on it.
And I think this would be an even ball game if the Townsville Fire had made the layups. They've missed a few layups down the stretch here in this fourth quarter.
Tolo out to Burton. Here's Tolo again for the long range two, and nothing but net there for Mariana.
And hasn't she been so great from that range? She's really stretched the floor out. 14 points. Shooting the ball at 50%. She's made some really big plays down the stretch, and that's what we know Mariana Tolo can do so well.
Of course, Foot Locker is celebrating 50 years of sneakers. You can celebrate 50 years of the current hoop season by grabbing the latest kicks and apparel at your nearest Foot Locker, the official major partner of the WNBL. Spoke of Mariana Tolo there, Alice, and her ability to make an impact offensively, but importantly, you did speak of the potential for her to be fouled out of the game, but she's reined herself in, hasn't she? She hasn't gone overly aggressively. I think she's been smart enough with the situation as required.
Well, Tolo would know just how important she is to this team, especially right now. They aren't really deep in that big five-man position. She's played such a pivotal role in the game so far. She's played really good defense. She's stretched the floor. She's shot the ball at crucial times and made really big plays. So 4 minutes, just under 4 minutes to go in this basketball game. Mariana Tolo needs to stay out there, and she's got enough experience in these big moments just to recognize when she needs to really stay in the game and not pick up that fifth foul.
You're Shannon Seabom in the hierarchy. What do you do here from a Fire point of view now that you're 12 down with limited minutes to go?
They've really got to put the pressure on. They might have to get into a press. They've got to slow the offense down of the Bendigo Spirit. And on the offensive end, they've got to get quick scores. So as we see Mariana Tolo there. So if they can get stops on the defensive end, so pressure up the floor, and then on the offensive end, get out and run, get on the rim, get out in transition.
Here's Ellis at the top. Can she reignite the Fire here in more ways than one as Woods goes to ground? Looks like there was a collision between her and Wilson behind. Foul called. So third personal foul there for Kelly Wilson. Just wonder, in terms of her fitness ability too, Kelly Wilson, you've got to admire her. Wonder how long she can keep playing. She seems to be in great touch from a fitness point of view and just with her general skills.
Oh, she's an incredible player, Kelly Wilson, and she's done this for many, many years, and we hopefully see her for many years more.
Woods tried to give it to Froling. There was a bit of contact. Froling with a bit of a dry grin on her face, shake of the head. So from the baseline here, what can the Fire muster? Oh, gee, about three of them went down. It's almost like stacks on the mill. Tolo and Woods having a few words. See that on a crowded footpath, but
that's Courtney Woods picking up that foul. As we see the help by Veronica Burton, she's been so good with her defensive productivity in this game. We see on that help side, but as we see here, Courtney Woods just setting the screen, but just a little bit too much on that pick, picks up that foul.
So just over 3 minutes remaining. Spirit still with a commanding enough lead at this point. Can the Fire orchestrate a massive comeback here? For their fans have turned out in droves. Great variety of demographics as well. Town really get behind. It's one of those things where Townsville and Bendigo do share those elements in common. Great regional towns who love their basketball. Great basketball history in both of them. Here's Whitcomb. Fires it out. Burton, an open look for three. Cox came late on the scene just to affect the direction. Froling with the rebound. Here's Woods scampering down the floor. Approached by Wilson. Got Tolo to contend with as well. Woods finds a way through as she so often does. All for a travel there. Wilson certainly motioning that way.
And Courtney Woods is actually on triple-double alert. She's got 12 points, 10 rebounds and 8 assists. Hopefully she doesn't get she's got 8 turnovers, but I'd like to see her get that triple-double in assists.
Really did set the tempo early for the Townsville Fire. Did Courtney Woods, created a lot of opportunities. Got out to a 9-0 lead early. Here's Griffin. Spirit have steadied since then, and they have this lead. Griffin for 3. KG 23, unable to convert there. What a transcending figure she's been in this competition.
And the Townsville Fire have really picked up their defensive intensity. Kelsey Griffin shooting that 3 ball nearly at the quarter court, so they're pushing them out of their offense. They're trying to get stops.
Alistair Woods. Bounce pass was good to Froling, sets her up, loops it over the top. Just floats in the air and straight into the hands of Tolo. So here's Burton. Approached by Ellis. How instrumental has she been since half-time, both scoring-wise and setting things up. Tolo to finish it off. Not quite, but the contact was there.
Great recognition there by Kelsey Griffin and by Veronica Burton, seeing Kelsey Griffin down low, and then she just tipped it off to her mate down in Mariana Tolo. And it's been huge that Tolo stayed out of foul trouble in this fourth quarter with 1:41 to go. She's been huge, made big plays, got to the rim.
And from the free throw line, she converts the first attempt. So from her perspective, that's now 15 points, second highest for the Spirit, with Whitcomb and Burton each on 16. Couldn't quite convert the second. So Froling. And she ignites something for the Fire here. Here's Locke. A bit of minutes on the court for her tonight. Cox around the corner. Didn't quite sink it in for 2.
Another layup missed by the Townsville Fire. They've had good looks on the offensive end. Bendigo just worrying them out of the points.
Burton. Good long-range pass earlier from Whitcomb. Burton tries to drive through a sea of Fire players, manages to keep her composure. Bounce pass to Whitcomb. Now Wilson with an open look. Off the iron. Good rebound from Wood. She's tried valiantly for much of the contest. Really got to admire her capacity, along with Whitcomb, who's on screen, to run it out, maintain their intensity throughout. Just credit to their fitness.
Yeah, and Sammy Whitcomb's been huge in this game. Shooting 41%, 16 points, 25% from the 3 ball, but the 7 rebounds and the 4 assists. She's been huge in this game.
A minute to go in the contest. And the Fire finish off the calendar year on a high. They've won 4 out of their last 5. They really have entered a bit of form in recent times. As Froling goes to ground. It's worth mentioning the only loss on that run was to Bendigo, and they've lost to Bendigo again. So that's been the common obstacle for them.
Yeah, and Bendigo have really had Townsville Fire's number, especially at home. This is their second loss at home against the Bendigo Spirit. They had the 4 games at home. Now they're back on the road. They come down and they play us at the Southside Flyers. But they've played some really good, consistent basketball. You just had lack of bench probably has hurt them this game.
From the elbow, Woods a chance, couldn't quite convert. Froling with the rebound to Locke. Now Ellis, open look for 3, and she gets her just rewards for a very good night individually. So, great performance from Abby Ellis tonight. Timeout called. It's interesting, Alice, we've got to make mention of the fact that Bendigo, they've had the festive season to try and work through, but also they've gone on the road going, I guess you call Southside a bit of a road trip, not much though, but they've gone to Adelaide and then made the long road trip up to Townsville to regain form when things were looking a bit awry coming into Christmas. I think it's just such a testament to the fact they are the benchmark in the competition.
Yeah, and they played us on the 22nd, I think it was, that
Sunday,
and then they had the first game back on the 27th. So they didn't get a really long break, but sometimes that can be really beneficial, especially when you've just come off 2 losses in a row. All you want to do is get back on the training floor and get another win and kind of forget the losses. So probably good that they had the shorter Christmas period. I hope they all got home to their families and got to spend some time with their families, and the importance spending time with the girls and the team. But it looks like what they've done in that couple of days short break has been really great. They've kept Townsville Fire to 63 points. That's a great defensive game by the Bendigo Spirit. They've shot the ball really well. They've shot the 3 ball at 35%. They've gotten to the rim and they've kept their turnovers under wraps. They only have 11 turnovers to Townsville's 19 turnovers, and that's what I think has really hurt the Townsville Fire this game.
Right. Great to hear the insights of Alice Koenig tonight in commentary. Wera try and get it back there from Samuels. Came off hands. 36.2 seconds to go in this contest. The Bendigo Spirit, certainly after a 9-0 start, looking the goods. Lost a couple prior to Christmas, but have certainly turned things around. Here's Burton, tries to drive her way through. Just too much latitude at the end. Couldn't stick it in for 2. 26 seconds to go. The Fire finish off with a bit of a blaze of glory here. Woods has been very, very omnipresent. Lock for 3. It bobbles out. Burton with the rebound. The contact made from Froling there, who's a little bit disturbed by the decision and not very happy with the ref. So 14.4 seconds to go in the 2024 WNBL calendar year. And Alice, it's fair to say the Spirit have sent a message to the competition tonight, because it's always a tough road trip. You've got the crowd to contend with as well, and they have stepped up to the task after an early deficit.
Yeah, it's been a really successful road trip for the Bendigo Spirit, getting that win in Adelaide and then coming here to Townsville, which it's so hard to win in Townsville. It's such a great atmosphere, and we spoke about the crowd, and you mentioned earlier, just before you alluded to the year of basketball, wrapping up 2024, and what an amazing year of basketball it's been here in Australia in women's basketball. We had the Southside Flyers winning the WNBL championship, and then we had the Opals winning that bronze medal at the Paris Olympics, and then now, you know, watching an incredible WNBL display this season so far. So full credit to all the girls competing, the women in the WNBL, and what they've been doing and excelling at their careers, and we just look forward to a really exciting 2025.
Yes, hopefully a very prosperous one for Australian basketball. A lot of changes still to come as well. Thursday night, don't forget, catch the coverage in various WNBL platforms. The Flames taking on the Bendigo Spirit on Thursday night. So again, the Spirit, they'll back up after not a very long break. It'll be a great test of their fitness, but they've got that self-confidence. That's what experience can do. Once you believe in yourself, it can be hard to stop as a team, regardless of any obstacle that comes your way.
Yeah, and a lot of their starters have played really big minutes. Veronica Burton, 36, Tolo, 31, Sammy Wickham, 34. But they have had really good bench contributions. Casey Samuels with the 11 points off the bench and the plus 12 on the efficiency, and Abby Wera 9 points off the bench, plus 16 on the efficiency. So that's a really positive sign for this Bendigo Spirits team. They've been able to get their bench through. They've had 33 points from their bench, 20 points from their bench, and that's really going to go a long way to going to Sydney, who have just had a really big win, and going to try and get that win in Sydney against the Sydney Flames.
It's a pertinent thing you raise as well with Samuels and Warren. When the game needed to be won in the third quarter, where it was a lot tighter, they really did step up to the plate. Speaking of which, Ellis has done that for much of the night. Puts it in, lay up for 2. So 10 seconds to go. Warren over the top, looping it, and the contact made. Picking yourself up off the floor there. The Spirit is Nightingale, has had limited minutes tonight. 75 to 65. Burton converted those 2 free throws earlier. 18 points, 5 rebounds and 7 assists. She has been a standout tonight. Nightingale from the line here. Puts in the first just to put some sauce on the sausage.
And they've just had contributors all across the floor. They've had 4 players and nearly a 5th with Abby Wirang in double figures, and they average 5 players in double figures, the Bendigo Spirit. And that just shows that they share the ball, they move the ball out in transition, everyone gets a touch on the ball, so everyone feels confident when it's their turn to shoot the ball and shoot with confidence.
So that's the end of the calendar year in the WNBL for 2024, and at the end of round 9, the Bendigo Spirit sent a message to the competition with a big win. A tough road trip, defeating the Townsville Fire 76 to 65, despite trailing by 9 early. It's been a sensational performance from the Bendigo Spirit, and they enter the 2025 calendar year with confidence. There's no doubt about that, Alice.
Yeah, that's a really big win by this Bendigo Spirit. Setting the fireworks off early, we love it. Yeah, they were just methodical in the way they played the game. They started a little bit slow. Townsville Fire got off to that 9-0 record, 9-0 start in the game. But the Bendigo Spirit just chipped away, and we spoke about basketball is a game of runs, it's a game of momentum, and they just stayed true to their game plan. They didn't try and win the game in that first 5 minutes or first 10 minutes trying to get back. They just played every single possession. They played the percentages. They shot the ball with great confidence. They moved the ball, and they played great defense, keeping the Townsville Fire to 65 points. That's a great defensive effort by the Bendigo Spirit.
Sammy Whitcomb was very good, particularly early in the first half when the game was there to be won. She was sensational. And Burton, I think as the game progressed, she got better and better. 18, obviously, was her mark that she probably wanted to set, and she did tonight. 18 points, 5 rebounds and 7 assists. Frolic had a reasonable night for Townsville. Burton was very, very damaging with her scoring capacity, and something that gets overlooked, her ability to set others up. And Mariana Tola, we should mention her because ultimately, as we look at the statistics, 15 points to her name, stayed out of foul trouble and was very good in creating opportunities in that last quarter particularly.
Yeah, great job by Mariana Tolo. She had some really big shots down the stretch, especially when the game was on the line. But full credit to Abby Ellis. She had another great game, 18 points. Lauren Cox was huge with 15 and 12. Courtney Woods nearly with that triple-double, 12, 11 and 8. And it's now how do they back up? How do they regroup? They're down on numbers. Maybe they'll get Mansell back. Maybe they'll get Shields back. And then the Bendigo Spirit, they've got to go to Sydney. They've got another tough game against the Sydney Flames. It's going to be another huge game there.
It's going to be a test for both sides and their character, no question about that, and their depth. And Sammy Whitcomb, who we mentioned there, 16 points, was sensational right throughout the night and created opportunities in terms of finding space when it really looked like there was nothing. And we spoke about her deceptive physicality. She just finds a way out of trouble with consummate ease.
Yeah, and Sammy Whitcomb really exploited that matchup against Alex Fowler. Alex Fowler's not usually guarding a player like Sammy Whitcomb in that guard position, and she just recognised that she had the foot speed against her. She didn't just settle for that 3 ball all the time. She got on the rim, she finished with confidence, she got her teammates involved, she had the 6 assists, and she played with confidence. The 4 assists, 7 rebounds. She shot the ball at a great clip. And Sammy Whitcomb doing Sammy Whitcomb. She's the ultimate professional, the ultimate leader on the court, and she's leading this team. She knows she wants to win a championship. Sammy Whitcomb's achieved everything in her career, but she doesn't have that WNBL championship, and I know she wants to get that with the Bendigo Spirit.
150 games at WNBL level, Sammy Whitcomb, 41% her conversion rate with the field goals tonight. She was superb right throughout in her contribution, no question about that. We take a look at the round 10 fixtures. We've completed round 9 as we head certainly into the new year. Some interesting clashes. The Flames host the Spirit on Thursday night, as we spoke about. And just from the Townsville Fire point of view, they've got to travel, but they got your Southside Flyers at the State Basketball Centre. It's always a tough ask.
Yeah, and they've got to back up. They're down on some numbers. They've got to travel down to Melbourne, but there are some huge games across the board. Capitals versus Geelong, and then finishing the round with the Lynx versus Adelaide Lightning, which I think will be a really exciting game. Can Adelaide get one on the road against the Perth Lynx?
That's right. Probably the main challenges now, you could argue, to the Bendigo Spirit from a ladder point of view as well. It's been somewhat of a 2-horse race, but the Townsville Fire will look to regain a bit of confidence. They did come into the game winning 4 out of their last 5. They fall short their home court tonight, but unfortunately for them, they head into the new year with a loss. They've still got a lot of time to recapture some form. Alice, it's been a pleasure working with you tonight.
It's been a real pleasure working with you for your first game of WNBL action. Hopefully we'll see you on a little bit more. And, thanks everyone for watching, and hope you have a happy new year, and hope 2025 is a great year for everyone.
Happy New Year to everyone. The Bendigo Spirit ending the year in style, 76-65 victors over the Townsville Fire.
Driving baseline. What a dive! Whitcomb, how sweet was that? Step back 3,
Wow.
Taylor George. She's got a flamethrower at the moment.
Shelley with a big triple.
It was acrobatic, it was impressive, it was Steph Talbot.
Jade Melvin, the lefty lay in. Capitals continue to roll. Perth have been unconscious from three. Alice Koenig connects.
She's pumped up and so she should be.